Assalamu alaikum. Welcome again. We are here with our second lecture of today. As we were doing communication, so we'll be continuing with the communication. The topic of communication, as we were discussing, uh, since it seems a very simple topic, but you all can understand. And with the last lecture, you may have got a very good feeling and very good understanding of why communication is important and what are its functions. We so far have discussed what exactly is the communication and what are the functions of communication and what are the four functions we discussed. The four functions are control, motivation, emotional expression, and information. These are the four functions that communication serves. After that, we discussed the importance of communication. As we all can very well understand that what is the importance of communication. We discussed almost 7 points of of the importance of communication, why communication is important, and why doing the communication, the right communication at the right time. What is the importance of saying the right thing at the right time? After that, we discussed types of communication. We were discussing actually the types of communication, what are different types, and what is the importance of each of the type. So far, the one that we have discussed is verbal communication. As we discussed, that verbal communication is whatever you say in your words, whatever you express in your words is called verbal communication. Um, we discussed that for verbal communication, what is important is that you must have a very strong and confident voice, and you should have not only that you speak, that you must have a capacity and capability of speaking well, but you must have a capability and capacity of listening well as well. That's what we call active listening. And the meaning of active listening is that you must listen carefully whatever is said, because when we don't concentrate and when we don't focus on the words that are being told to us, and we just get in a hurry to say our thing, what happens is that whatever is communicated to us is not properly communicated, and whatever you answer in response to that actually doesn't complete the whole message. So, what is important is to that the communication that is happening between two bodies. One is saying something, and the other is listening. That the person saying must be very clear in his or her words and the statement that he or she is giving, and the person who is listening must also have a very clear listening and very clear understanding of what is being told. Then we discussed that when we say something, sometimes it happens that you are in a presentation, you are in a conference, or you're presenting yourself in a meeting. What happens is that you are trying to say something, and in that attempt that you are trying to say something, when you don't find some appropriate words to say something, you use some filler words. And what are filler words? We might be saying okay, fine, like. So these are all words that we consciously or unconsciously use a lot. So when you are communicating, and when you, especially when you are communicating formally in a meeting or in a conference or in a presentation, this is very important that you try to avoid some these all filler words. And then after that, the next thing that we are going to discuss is the next type of communication. And from here we are going to start our today's this lecture, the second lecture. Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is the use of body language, gestures, and facial expressions. We all know that we take a lot of help from our facial expressions. We take a lot of help from our body language. Someone who is not very comfortable in any situation, he might not be sitting very comfortably. He might have crossed arms or crossed legs, which shows that that person is not very comfortable in that situation. Sometimes some people have a habit of looking here and there when you're talking to that person, which means he's not comfortable in looking straight into your eyes. So these are all actually your body gestures, body language, and your facial expressions. If you're getting anxious, घबराहट जिसको कहते हैं, if you're getting anxious in some situation, some people might get um, like they may get blush, or they may get some pain in their any body part. This all happens. So basically this all means that there is something, obviously, psychologically we all are connected with everything that is happening with us. So our psyche tells us how to behave in certain situation. So coming out of the stress of that situation and making yourself comfortable in a situation means that you are actually using your non-verbal communication ways in an effective way. But otherwise, these non-verbal communication ways can go against you, because people will get a feeling that you're not comfortable right now, and you are a little confused, or you're a little anxious. So basically, this all is something when you are presenting yourself in a formal meeting or in a formal presentation. What happens is, sometimes people get a little anxious, or a little conscious about the crowd that is sitting in front of him or her, and the people all looking up, looking to you. So you get confused. Oh, everyone is looking at me. What if I speak something wrong? If I say any word wrong? But when you take yourself out of that, when you think that, okay, I'm a human, I can say something wrong, but it is my feelings that I have to control myself, my emotions, and my stress, so as people get the meaning of whatever I am here standing to say, rather than focusing on my confusion. So when you get this feeling in yourself, you automatically take control of your body gestures. So basically, to convey information to others, it can be used both intentionally and unintentionally. For example, you might smile unintentionally when you hear a pleasing or enjoyable idea or piece of information. Non-verbal communication is helpful when trying to understand others' thoughts and feelings. This is very important. If the person standing in front of you is not comfortable with you, you can judge that through the word, through the feelings, through the gestures, through the body language that person has. Because it might not happen that he will say something with his words. It's not important that he says, I don't want you to stand here, or I'm not comfortable with you having you here in this meeting. But what happens is, you can understand the body gestures of that person, and through body gestures you can understand what is he feeling right now. So basically, um, non-verbal communication is actually something that helps the person who is maybe he's delivering a speech, or he's giving a presentation. Along with the words that you're using, along with the slides that you're using, you are also using your words, your smile, your eyes. So with all this, it means you are using your non-verbal gestures to communicate the meaning that you want to communicate. Closed body language and open body language. These are very interesting terms in non-verbal communication. If the people are displaying closed body language, such as crossed arms or legs, or hunched shoulders, they might be feeling anxious, angry, or nervous. If they are displaying open body language with both feet on the floor and arms by their side or on the table, they are likely feeling positive and open to information. You might have felt this. If you remember, when you guys gave that presentation, you guys asked me, ma'am, can we give this presentation standing on the rostrum? And I said no. Actually, rostrum is something that you can hide yourself behind. So basically, why? Because this is something that this is a non-verbal gesture that you hide yourself behind something, and then you get a feeling that I'm safe. I am not visible to many people. What I have in my hands, some papers or something that is not visible to everyone. So that means I can stand behind a rostrum and say whatever. You automatically get a confident feeling. But what actually happens is you make it a you sometimes feeling that it's a support for you, but it actually becomes a barrier because you actually stop yourself from presenting yourself in front of everyone. This is said that teachers who constantly and continuously stand behind the rostrum are actually afraid of the people sitting, teacher or presenter, whoever. He has some concerns coming in front of the people sitting in front of that person. So basically, when, for example, if you are angry, if you have some anger in your mind, how do you sit? You will never sit relaxed. You'll have your arms crossed, or your legs crossed, or your shoulders very tightly positioned. So this all shows that you are not relaxed right now. You have a very you have some stress or anxiety, or you have some feeling of might be anger. So this all is communicated through your body gestures. At the same time, if you're sitting very relaxed, you're having your arms on the table. Many times you must have seen that people in a meeting or people sitting in a relaxed environment, they usually sit on the chair, having the chair a little relaxed at the back, or they might be sitting the arms on the table, and they're having an open discussion. This simply and clearly shows that the people are having their body gestures are showing that they are comfortable in that situation, and they're open for discussion. They can discuss right now everything and anything. A few steps that you can take to develop your non-verbal communication skills. Number one is notice how your emotions feel physically. Throughout the day, as you experience a range of emotional emotions, anything from energized, bored, happy, or frustrated, try to identify where you feel the emotions within your body. For example, if you are feeling anxious, you might notice that your stomach feels tight. Developing self awareness around how your emotions affect your body can give you greater mastery over your external presentation. This happens a lot. If I tell you, some people got um, a stomach disorder when they're very anxious, because you must have heard a proverb that is used. I'm feeling butterflies in my stomach right now. This actually means that your stomach is having some kind of movement, that you are having some because you're getting anxious. So what they say is how to control your non-verbal communication, how to control your body gestures. They say that how your emotions make you feel physically, try to understand that. Some people get blush if they are in a situation when they are getting anxious on something, or if they are getting conscious about something, they suddenly get blush. So if you think that you get blush because of that sudden emotion or something, then you must learn to control your emotions. Means if you get blush on something, that means in a certain situation, in something, you must try yourself to relax, that okay, I'm not focusing right now. Whatever is getting me conscious, is making me conscious or anxious right now, I don't want to focus on that. So what will happen? You will control your emotion. At same ways, if you think that you get anxious and you get some stomach pains, that means you have to get yourself physically a little conscious, that okay, I don't want myself to get anxious right now, because I have to keep myself standing right now in this position, in this situation. I have to, for example, give a presentation. For example, I have to chair this meeting. I have to be a part of this meeting. I have to speak in the meeting, or I have to meet in a conference, speak in a conference. So whatever the situation is, whatever you think that something, such kind of situation, when it arises, I get a little anxious, and my face blushes, or my stomach aches, or my like some people get skin rash. So actually what this all is, this is basically, you must notice that how your emotions feel physically, how you get them on you. So try to control that thing physically. Be intentional about your non-verbal communication. Make an effort to display positive body language when you feel alert, open, and positive about your surroundings. You can also use body language to support your verbal communication. If you feel confused or anxious about information, like using a furrowed brow, use body language alongside verbal communication, such as asking follow up questions or pulling the presenter aside to give feedback. So basically, when you think that what non-verbal communication ways you have as your strength. For example, some people just with a little fro of their eyebrow can simply give a message to the other person that what's wrong with you. Sometimes you just look at the other person and you give a message, or you give a smile and you give a message. So basically, with your non-verbal methods of communication, you must learn to use them, your intentions. What do you want in that moment? For example, sometime someone asks you to come in the room, and you just give a slight nod of your head. It's not important that you say please come in, because with the slight nod he gets the meaning that yes, they say you come. With a slight movement of your hand, or with your head, or with your eyes. Simply, these are actually, you must know how to use your nonverbal communication gestures, because if you will know, you will be able to use them along with the verbal communication. This is very important, because obviously we use our non-verbal communication ways when we are actually communicating verbally. When we are speaking, we use our non-verbal communication methods as well. It's not that we are sitting silently and we just use our non-verbal communication. This is not so. So basically, you must know how to use them and how to use them effectively. Mimic non-verbal communication you find effective. Sometimes this happens, that if you see someone and you think that this person is actually this person actually communicates in a very very well manner. He or she knows how to communicate, and this kind of non-verbal gestures, when he or she uses them, they look very nice, they look very effective, and they give a meaning, they give a sudden and direct meaning. That means you try to learn them. You think that they can be followed, they can be added into your presentation as well. So to make your presentation more effective. So if you find certain facial expressions or body language beneficial to a certain setting, use it as a guide when improving your own nonverbal communication. For example, if you see that when someone nods their head, it communicates approval and positive feedback efficiently, use it in your own meeting and when you have the same feelings. Simply, if you're sitting in a meeting, someone nods his head and you think that this gives a sudden meaning to the other person that yes, you're saying it right. So simply you can learn that you can have a positive addition into your presentation or your next time meeting, that when you add these kind of gestures and these kind of acts in your verbal communication, this actually makes your verbal communication very effective and people get the meaning suddenly and readily, and this actually makes your communication power more strong. Okay, next type of communication is written. Um, Written communication, we all know that is the act of writing, typing, or printing symbols like letters and numbers to convey information. It is helpful because it provides a record of information to reference. Writing is commonly used to share information through books, pamphlets, blogs, letters, memos, and more emails and chats as a common form of written communication in the workplace. Now, these are all that I have told you. These are all different forms of written communication at the workplace. You all get an official email from your institution when there is something that is to be told to you. You all have your WhatsApp groups in your classes, your formal WhatsApp groups. What do they do? They communicate with you. They give you a message. And written communication is very, very important. Why it is important? Because this is actually something that can be used for future reference. Whatever is said, but whatever is written forever. So basically, um, whatever you write it very carefully. Sometimes an email written by you, a letter written by you, a memo sent to any department. This all actually becomes a record, and this record can be used in favor of you, can be used in against you. So you have to be very careful in the selection of words. You have to be very careful in the selection of message, what you're conveying, what you're telling to other people. So this is very, very, very important that you convey your your words, your message in a very effective and careful manner. um, and I guess written is something that if I say in a class, I ask you guys that this is an assignment and I'm giving you guys this assignment. And have you ever noticed that I always ask the CR that I might forget it, kindly share this assignment in the WhatsApp group. And I usually, what I do, I write that assignment in your Google Classroom. So what does it do? It is actually authenticating your said words. When you say something, someone might say, "Oh, I'm sorry, teacher, I was out of the class. I didn't hear you. I wasn't in the class to hear what you said." Someone might say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was actually not focusing on your words at that moment. I didn't listen to you." But whatever message that I have sent is within you, is as a record is within you, and you can always refer back to that message, and I can always refer back to that message. That, see, I sent you guys a message as well. I posted your assignment in the classroom as well. So no escape. So basically, whatever is written is something that is written forever. So you must be very careful whenever you write something that those written words are actually the written communication is very, very important and very strong. So there are a few steps you can take to develop your written communication skills. Um, Strive for simplicity. This is very important. Written communication should be as simple and clear as possible. While it might be helpful to include lots of detail in instructional communication, for example, you should look for areas where you can write as clearly as possible for your audience to understand. When we speak, we can go into the detail. Have you ever seen that? A very good example of this is when you write something, you go into very perfect detail of something. You cannot say that when you're speaking मैं वहां गया फिर उसके बाद ये हुआ फिर मैं जब मैं वहां गया. Now when you're writing, how can you write I go there and then I go there? So what is the difference between this there and another there? So basically, when you write, you have to be very specific and you have to be very straight, and try and you must use very simple and straight to the point words. What is the benefit of that? Because when you write in a complicated way or in a way that people cannot understand, or either they cannot understand or either they can have two meanings from that. So basically, some a message that can give you dual meaning, double meaning, that means half of the people will understand meaning A and half of the people will understand meaning B. So definitely what is important is to you have to write something very simply, and writing something simply means you are actually focusing on the straight meaning of a sentence, of a paragraph, of a message, of an email that you are sending to other persons, that please, this is required and kindly send it by this date. So when the thing is clear, everyone will be clear, and this will be clear with everyone, and the message will be same for everyone. So this is a simple formula of written communication, that your message must be very simple. Don't rely on tone, because you do not have the nuance of verbal and non-verbal communication. Be careful when you are trying to communicate a certain tone when writing. For example, attempting to communicate a joke, sarcasm, excitement might be translated differently depending on the audience. Instead, try to keep your writing as simple and plain as possible, and follow up with verbal communication where you can add more personally. So basically, when we say don't rely on tone, uh, when we are speaking, when we are talking, when we are giving a message verbally, we can have a lot of tones that we can use, and that tones conveys the message. Maybe I'm saying something in a way that that something is told to someone in a very pleasant way, but I'm making a taunt, but I'm making that taunt in a pleasant way, and the other person standing in front of me will suddenly get a meaning that this person is in a pleasant mood. This is not taunting me. But what if I write the same sentence in a written form and send to the other person? How can that person get that I'm in a pleasant mood? Because mood is not shown in written words. So basically, when we say don't rely on tone, please be very careful when you're writing something, because if you write your tone in words, that means you are actually confusing the person you're sending your written message. Sorry. So basically, this again is something very important. As I told you, that your message must be simple. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity is the key for the success of written communication. Yes, the people writing literature, they can have very good and tricky ways of writing something. But when you are writing something in an office, you want to communicate officially, formally. The only key is the simplicity, because you will be to the point and people will get the to the point meaning. Take time to review your written communication. Again, very important. जैसे बचपन में कहा जाता था कि when you do your paper, when you complete your written paper, always have a look at your paper. Have you done all the questions right? And what I used to do, and what I was told by my, at least, parents and teachers, that you have done your paper. Now have a look at your answer sheet. That have I attempted all the questions? And the next thing that is very important is compare your answer with the question. Was that asked? यही पूछा था? Because this is very important. Someone, the question given is saying something else. You are giving the answer of something else, and this happens a lot of time. I have recently checked your answer scripts, and I have a very strong feeling of this, that you guys don't read the question carefully. So what happens is that you don't get what is asked. You don't get what exactly is asked. So what happens? The response that you give in response to that question is not exactly what I asked for. So um, always take time to review what you have written, and please compare it and think, was that the same that was asked? Is this something that was required by me? Am I supposed to give this answer? Am I supposed to to write this in the email? If this is so, if this is all that is required, then definitely you are on the right track. If this is not, you have to change it. And then how to change it? Through simpler words with simpler meanings and to the point. What is asked? Tell that. And if you want to ask something from the other person, review your written communication. Have you asked the question in a right way? Was that something that was asked from you? So please be careful when you write something, and always review what you write. Keep a file of writing you find effective or enjoyable. Again, this is something this is almost the same that when they say that. You can add some non-verbal gestures that you like of someone. If you like someone, always nod in a way that people get a very good meaning of that, and you want to add that style in your verbal communication. And this happens many a times, that if we like someone's style, we add that style into our communication ways. So same ways, they say that if you think that someone writes very well, if someone has a very good expression in writing, why not to save some page with you, an expression of a person who send an email, or who send a letter to you, or send an email to you, or some document to you, and you find it how effective this is written. Wow, very well written. So why not to keep a copy of that? Because how it is going to help you the next time you have to compose an email, next time you have to write something, you'll get a very good help and good support and good um, what must I say, that you can have a good help from that email. And how? Because you can follow the, not copy, you can follow the style of writing of that person. So this is again a key to have a good and effective way of writing. So the last one and the fourth one is visual communication. What is visual communication? Let's have a look. Visual communication is the act of using photographs, art, drawings, sketches, charts, and graphs to convey information. So basically, when you use photographs for some conveying of message, you must have seen that visual communication is a lot used in our media. We definitely cannot have a very interesting and enjoyable and attractive documentary unless you have some video running in that. If some person is speaking about a place, that this place, say Gilgit. Gilgit is a very beautiful place. It is in the northern areas. It has waterfalls, it has mountains, it has grass, the big green grass plains, and what a beautiful city it is. The roads are so good now. You can travel. Now, this all is told to you. But how long can you listen to this? Unless a video is running along and they are showing Gilgit, they're showing the road going to the Gilgit, they're showing the mountains, they're showing the waterfalls, they're showing the green grasslands. This is where you get the meaning. Okay, wow, the mountains, wow, the water, what the waterfalls are. Oh, it's beautiful place. Wow, कितनी अच्छी सड़क है. अब तो ये सड़क बहुत अच्छी बन गई है. If someone says there's a very nice road going to, can you believe that unless you see that? Oh wow, what a road. So basically, this is visual communication, that you convey a meaning to the other person not only by saying it, but also not only by writing. Someone wrote that, someone spoke that, but someone showed that as well. So when these three things come along, this is the visual communication, and this is a whole set of communication that actually carries a very, very effective meaning. Visuals are often used as an aid during presentations to provide helpful context alongside written and or verbal communication. Because people have different learning styles. Visual communication might be more helpful to some to consume ideas and information. Again, a very, very important point. Um, you might have seen that if I say that if a person stand giving a presentation and he says that in the year 1990 we did a business of this much amount and this much volume, and the profit that we get is this much volume, and then in the year 2000, then in the year 2. So, how can you keep all these facts and figures in your mind all at once? What if a graph is presented to you in the in on your multimedia? There is a graph running, and that graph is is being shown to you. And what does that graph tells you? It tells you the year 1990, the year 1995, the year 2010. Maybe it's a little less in 2005, and then it's again a rise in. Suddenly you can have an idea. Okay, this year this happened, then this. So visual presentation actually conveys the meaning very quickly, and definitely every person, person A can have a different skill of learning something than person B. This person may be like, when I read something, I get good meanings. When I look at the pictures, I get good meanings. But when some demonstration is given in the written form, oh, that doesn't get into my mind. But some people are really good in getting written demonstrations. They take a point from A and then take 4 centimeters up till the point B, and then take. So this is sometimes it's a very confusing for me because I'm not very good in the written demonstrations. But if something, if there's a diagram given, I suddenly get it. Okay, so from A to B, this he's actually going like this, and then from C to D, how have you come to how you can move to D? So basically, this is something that when you give a visual communication to people, this is an aid, and this is a support to the message that has been given by verbally or in the written form. Yeah, a few steps you can take to develop your visual communication skills. Ask others before including visuals. If you are considering sharing a visual aid in your presentation or email, consider asking others for feedback. Adding visuals can sometimes make concepts confusing as well or muddled. Getting a third party perspective can help you decide whether the visual aids help value to your uh, visuals add value to your presentation and your communication. So basically, this is again a suggestion that before adding a visual to your presentation, what you can do is you can ask another person who is not part of that, is not going to be the part of that presentation tomorrow, but you ask that person and you say that is this visual all right? Is this visual communicating the right meaning? What I want to say, is this conveyed? If that person says yes, this is exactly a very, very, very nice visual that you have selected. और if that person says, okay, मुझे पहले लगा था कि ये कह रहा है. So suddenly you must get a feeling that, okay, that means this visual is having a double meaning. Some people will understand it this way, and some people will understand it the other way. So that means you must select another visual for the support of your written or and the verbal presentation. So that means asking someone else to include before including the visuals will help you in getting a good advice if the visual is okay or not. Consider your audience. Be sure to include visuals that are easily understood by your audience. For example, if you are displaying a chart with unfamiliar data, be sure to take time and explain what is happening in the visual and how it relates to what you are saying. You should never use sensitive, offensive, violent, or graphic visuals in any form. दो तीन चीजें इसमें important हैं. The first point that they're saying, that they're discussing, is consider your audience. Means whom you are going to present your work. Is your audience literate enough, educated enough, conscious enough? Um, um, क्या कहना चाहिए? They have that they have that capacity of absorbing what you're presenting. If your presentation is made in a very complicated way, okay, your visuals are very good, they are communicating the meaning, but the people who are sitting in front of you to get that to attend that presentation, they don't have that caliber to attend to understand what is being added in the visuals. Your effort is useless. Then you are whatever you're presenting goes useless. So basically, when you are making a presentation and when you are adding some visuals into your presentation, please kindly consider your audience. Sometimes you have to give a presentation to your factory mulazimeen who are working in the factory for on the machines, on the spinning machine, on the weaving machines. They don't understand much they cannot understand much of your visuals. Either you get enough time, you have enough time to clearly explain whatever you have added as a visual. Explain your visual, explain your graphs, explain your everything that is made, so that they also enjoy that visual. Otherwise, they will not get what you have displayed to them. And then something very important is never kindly add anything sensitive in your visuals, because in selecting your visuals you might get you say that okay, this visual is okay, but there might be some material that is not very appropriate to show to your audience. Then in this way, this is very, very, very important that you select your material and visuals very carefully. Set personal goals to work through the things you want to accomplish step by step. To make improvements to your communication skills, it might be helpful to consult with trusted colleagues, managers, or mentors to identify which areas would be best to focus on first. Um, so to end up our today's topic, communication topic is obviously not finished yet, but the topic of types of communication. This is very important, that what mode of communication you must use, which type of communication you must use. This all depends on the strength that you have in the style of communication. If you can write well, be more focused on in writing. If you think you can present well, you can speak well, then you must focus on speaking. But this doesn't mean at all that if you cannot write well, you must neglect that area. um, Tell yourself that I have to write. Tell yourself that I have to make myself strong in writing. If you're not very good in speaking, tell yourself that I have to make my weakness, I have to convert my weakness into strength. I have to speak, I have to give presentations, I have to present myself so many times that I will overcome my fear of presenting myself in a group, in a group of people. So basically, give yourself, set personal goals, give yourself time, give yourself margin to improve yourself. Because sometimes I have heard students saying, मैम हम कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं, मैम प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं देनी बिकॉज हम कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं, हमें अच्छा नहीं लगता प्रेजेंटेशन देना. This is actually that if you are weak in some area, you are actually you're actually allowing that weakness to overpower you. Why not to overcome that weakness and get control of it and get hold of it and get so confident that yes, I can present myself. So this is very important that you identify which areas you are good at, and along with that, um, step by step, improve yourself. Give yourself time to improve yourself, gradually but consistently. So this is our lecture for today. We have completed the types of communication. We in today's lecture we completed the types of communication, but in today's two lectures that I'm going to post back to back in today's class, means in your Monday's class, we have started the topic of communication. We did the importance of communication, then we did the functions of communication, and then we did the types of communication. We have so far come up to till the types of communication. In the next class, inshallah, we'll be discussing the process of communication, and we'll be discussing some other important things related to communication. So thank you all, and inshallah we'll be having an interactive class on Wednesday. So we'll meet in the Wednesday's class and we'll discuss if you guys have any ambiguities related to this lecture. So with this, I am finishing my today's lecture. So okay, bye bye, Allah Hafiz.